to do the work.
Like you're handling everything. Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, so it's awesome. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I'm loving it.
Well, Sean has just revealed that he loves being a guest, everyone.
I
do. Starting the stream, bamboozling my guests. Wow. Guys, I've just started the coffee, and we were roasting Helen privately, so that's a different kind of roast. But anyways, we're live, and happy Saturday, everyone. Hopefully you've all had a fantastic Thanksgiving if in the United States. If you're not, I hope you're having an awesome week so far, wherever you are. Today, I'm joined by two lovely people. And today is really a celebration of Star Wars because what we got to witness yesterday from The Mandalorian was, I believe, the best live action Star Wars since the original trilogy. That shit was fire. So without further ado, before we have our hot takes, because Sean was ready to jump in, let's introduce. Let's introduce. I'm going to introduce my co-host Helen, Grand Moff Helena. How are you?
Very good, very good. I literally just got home, got a wine, and yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this episode because, yay, my favorite blue person was mentioned.
And it's hilarious because Helen was at work and I was like, Helen, answer me. Helen, answer me. Helen, answer me. And I sent her like 7 messages and she's like, Kyle, I enjoyed the episode. Is that what you wanted me to hear?
That's true, dude. I remember I kind of got the same thing because I remember it was like I was editing our video and I remember Kyle, like I just get like this just like bloop, 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 like the message just kept coming. I was like, dude, are you watching? I was like, no, I have to shoot it tomorrow. Shut the fuck up. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want anything but no. I mean, like, but I was like, but I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Whatever, cool, love you, dude. Bye. Like or whatever it was. Yeah. So I know everybody. As soon as you see the episode, it's something that you want to talk with everybody about, which is why I'm happy to be here.
I stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch it, but we're gonna get into that. Sean Tank Top from the Burlington Bar. Sean Katanko. How do you say that? Really nice play on words there.
It right before I signed in, I saw the Fangirl, and I was just like, can I make this work? Is this going to be stupid?
You did make it work.
Right. But usually most of the things that I do are a combination of the two anyway. So I just figured I figured I would just go for it. It's okay. I'm sure there's a bunch of Ahsoka fans that are just like, this motherfucker's going to be trying to take the queen's name right now. Oh, girl. like I'm sure that there's a lot of people like, you don't deserve to go anywhere near this character's name, but you know, I just thought it was an opportunity. I decided to take it. I'm sticking to it. Maybe I'll edit it later if people decide to start throwing stones on the internet. We'll see what happens. But yeah, happy to be here though, man. Happy to be here and to be talking about it because it's a momentous occasion.
It really is. Just an absolutely fantastic episode. We're going to get into everything. We're going to talk about Helen's going to drop some bombs. Maura Lee has some questions that are super relevant. Sean has a question for the panel after, so he's going to turn into the host at one point today and ask questions to everyone. But let's do some shout outs. I see some awesome people in the chat here. Maura Lee dropping 2 separate donations. $70. Maura, holy crap. She says, may the force be with all of us enjoying the stream with you. Kyle, Helen, and Sean, this episode was fabulous. I was actually talking to Maura just before the stream about how good this was. And as you'll know, chat, for those of you who have hit the join button, we got 2 new emojis, an Ahsoka Tano emoji, and we have a Chewbacca emoji. So we added some fun emojis for the chat. I see Maura in there. I see Sean and Helen in there. Voice of Geekdom Dan. I see... Oh, Dustin is in there. What's going on, Dustin?
The good Dr. Drace is hanging out in the chat. One of my compatriots over on my channel. How you doing, Dustin? Good to see you, boss.
Well, we'll have to do a discussion after the season.
A little something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kate Bertinsky, Simon, and Tanya, and I'm sure there's going to be other people in there. But anyways, so let's start off by doing this. Last episode, me and Helen, it was just us. This is our first guest of the season. By the way, you can find Sean's link to his YouTube channel if you want to go subscribe. Twitter in the description of the video. The same for Helen if you want to go check them out. I suggest you do. What we're going to do is rate the episode out of 5 macaroons, blue macaroons, which is what we did last episode. Sean, we'll start off with you. What did you think of the episode?
Oh, I mean, like I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, I'm rolling in on this thing at. I think it's a solid. Because somebody asked me like, which is your favorite episode of the season, and I think that there's for me there's a tie between episode 1, which I think was just such a lovely, clean, pure Star Wars type thing. This one was very much that, but it was also ticking off a bunch of boxes that people have wanted to see for a long time, and also doing it in a way that I think is not jarring for people that aren't aware of this, like of some of the other lore and some of the other things. Because I always like to come to a story kind of like how are they telling the story as a story? You know what I mean? And I thought that it did a tremendous job doing all of those things while also just leaving, just being a salt bay and just sprinkling all the fun nerd stuff, just like all the things that so many different types of Star Wars fans, because there's a lot of different types of Star Wars fans, have wanted to see, and this episode had all of them. So I'm going 5 out of 5 blue Macrons, and that's a lot of those are expensive Macrons. I mean, that's no slouch.
$50. Did you see the price of that
dude,
shit?
what the fucking fuck is that shit? Like, I just remember seeing that and I was like, that's the most expensive treat. I mean, I'm not, you can't pull a Baby Yoda with that, which you eat so many of them that you throw up. In fact, like I'd probably have to like, limit myself to like a half a Macron, like a week or whatever, just to like not feel like I was completely being, I don't know, like I was being taken for a ride.
Luxurious.
Seriously, dude, for real. But no, I thought it was a magnificent episode. 5 out of 5.
You make a great point. It kind of let us get to know characters while also moving the plot forward, while also just being a love. I'm gonna give my love letter to Star Wars is what I'll describe it as after. Sean, 5 out of 5. Helen, what would be your ranking?
Je mangeais tous les macarons. Alors,
Tu parles français aussi, mademoiselle.
no, I ate all the macaroons. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was awesome. Yes, 6 out of 5, whatever. I loved it. It was visually, oh my God. It was not just the content. And, again, my favorite blue person was mentioned. But it was visually just beautiful. And I was a bit anxious about Ahsoka's appearance because we literally did not hear anything about it. There were no real leaks, like image leaks. And she was perfect. She looked amazing. I'm in love with Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Helen, I was having a chat with a few different people. Star Wars Theory is another creator, and they were in the chat. And I chat with a few people that subscribe to his channel. He's probably the most popular Star Wars YouTuber out there. He was having a huge live stream yesterday. But people were talking about Rosario Dawson must have watched a bunch of Clone Wars because her mannerisms, the way she carried herself like Ahsoka, the way she she felt like that. Like there's very few characters where we can say like, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, like Ewan McGregor. Okay, there's 2 different types of Obi, but he's Obi. Like there's very few people that you can say, well, that is that character. And Rosario,
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
My
right,
Wonder Woman.
For sure.
Yeah,
100%.
That's another one. We have many different Batmans. You have many different portrayals of other characters and other fandoms, but Rosario felt like Ahsoka. I was like blown away because, like, Sean, have you watched Clone Wars? We're not judging if you haven't.
Oh, no. I mean, well, I look very forward to delving because this is the thing is that like it's one of those things where I would kind of there would be a disturbance in the Force and I would hear about some really crazy things that were going on like within like Rebels or within Clone Wars, like as it was happening. And so like, and I had some friends that were watching, so they would kind of catch me up. I was like, oh, that seems kind of nice or whatever. But I never took the dive, but I've watched like a bunch of scenes. And I have like an okay handle. I'm not going to say that it better than a passing, like maybe better than like,
because we've had private conversations and we've talked about things like, because you haven't watched the whole show, but you still have an understanding of who this character is.
Right. I've had an understanding and like over the years, just like knowing like how much affection the fandom like has on like for Ahsoka and having seen like, I've watched like, I'd say I've watched like all told like about 15 episodes of Clone Wars and Rebels kind of
Yeah,
all together,
with
and like
friends
some
and
of the
stuff.
some of the bigger ones, yeah. And it was the coolest thing about it that Rosario kind of was able to do was to kind of carry this bridge from like the kind of post Vader fight in Rebels Ahsoka, because Ahsoka's kind of very warm and bubbly and spunky, and this Ahsoka was like, oh my God, is your wine okay?
Yeah, my cat just grabbed my phone has a thingy. My cat is under the table and she wanted to rip my phone. Sorry.
Oh, no,
A disturbance in the pause. This was a disturbance in the pause.
There was
The loft cat. The
Loft cat.
But I thought that it was very impressive in the way that Rosario was able to kind of push the character forward in a certain sense, in the way that like this is, kind of almost like her version of like the older Obi-Wan, where she's like seen a lot, like this character has been through a lot. And so to kind of carry like a little bit of the world weariness, but like when they were having that beautiful scene between her and who I've been calling Gogurt, even though I know that
Grogu.
I've just been calling him Gogurt. Right. But yeah, but with her and Baby Yoda, they were having that lovely scene where they were just having that nice like wordless transaction or whatever, and she had that light kind of smile, and there was just these little touches that were very Ahsoka. So she was able to kind of, demonstrate growth for like people that have been keeping up with the series and have been following this character for so long, but like. I don't know. It was treading a very thin line. It's a hard fucking job to do that, to imbue like a character that people already have like a pretty enormous relationship with. It's do it as well as she did. So yeah,
it's crazy, Sean, because her character was hated more than maybe Jar Jar in the beginning,
early on. Yeah,
we know how parts of the Star Wars. Star Wars fans are extremely dedicated. This is their thing. They're super into Star Wars, just like Game of Thrones people are in Song of Ice and Fire. Oh, yeah. Very same energy. But I think that, you make a great point. I'm going to throw this to you, Helen. Like, it was just like really blown away because people were super nervous about how she was going to be introduced. And then we got that cold open to start the episode. And it was just like, boom, we were just there. And Ahsoka was as badass as she ever was.
Yeah, and the thing is, what Sean says, right? She was very, she was not rushing into it. She was very wise. She was actually very quiet, she said, I'll come back tomorrow, which normally, she could just have gone for it, right? She could have beaten all these soldiers on her own. She didn't need Din, to be fair. And the thing is, she was like, yeah, I'll come back tomorrow. And this shows her growth. And this is very similar to Obi, because Obi was, yes, when he was young, and this sadly, as you haven't seen Clone Wars, not that much, but he was more of a rebel, and he was very different later on in the OGs, for example, in the OG movies. He was, very calm and like, no, you haven't had anything, you will let us pass. Like, it was completely different. And this is how Ashoka actually changed. You're completely right, that she became from a very young girl who always, was, no, let's fight. But her approach now is very different. And that literally showed in the first scene when she said, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of reminds me of going from a crazy Donald Trump to a calm Joe Biden. We won't get into politics.
A little bit. Insofar as Ahsoka, because I saw like. Because I've seen the like kind of the feature length, like the Clone Wars, like the movie that they did that kind of kicked the whole thing off, and then they went into the thing, and she's spunky and impatient, and does not give a shit, and is not going to wait for anything, and this one. Was it was just a definitely like a bit more dialed back. She's like, I know all the fucking moves. Like I like what it's like. I know that I'm going to be able to take this place with or without Mando's help. And like so, but she's like, I don't know. I want to kick the dogs up. Like I got all day. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like it was just there was a kind of not resigned, but it was definitely like just like
pensive.
a little more.
She was more pensive than like
Yes.
she like it was a very mature Ahsoka. I love that.
Absolutely, 100%.
We're gonna jump back into the Ahsoka talk, but we're gonna praise our Star Wars God director / lore master Dave Filoni. Okay, because this guy, I was talking with a few people privately. I'm like, if they do decide to go back into the movies, they gotta give it to Favreau and Filoni, man, because they know how to capture the like the essence of what people are experiencing as normal citizens, like we are in the Outer Rim, and really getting that this particular episode. I don't know if anybody is like Kurosawa nerd like me. Jimbo and the Lone Wolf and Cub. Like I love the old samurai movies, and this was like it felt like we were in like some old, like samurai town with beautiful cherry blossoms and shit, and like shit. Like it really felt like you were there in the episode, and that was so masterful. And how they pulled up like the cinematography, which we mentioned at the start of the live stream, but it was more than just the cinematography. It was the ambiance of the episode, how they put us in this small town of Caladan and this little forest on the outside, and how they made this big universe of Star Wars small and focused in on this one particular thing.
Yeah.
While still mentioning the bigger universe, she told us about the past. So again, even if you haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, she makes references to the movies, to the prequels, to the sequels, to the OG, there's everything in there. You don't need to see and know everything to understand this episode and to have fun with it, which is super cool.
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, like the one thing is that I'll just say like I am kind of a, there's Reformed Catholics and there's kind of Reformed. I would call myself a Reformed prequel hater, insofar as and what I mean by that, insofar as like I can, and that was kind of me, I was going along the dark path of hate and anger and stuff like that, whereas. Kind of like the coolest thing about, I think Star Wars as a whole is the sandbox that the imagination just gets to play in, and for a lot of people, like the prequel sandbox is just their preferred sandbox, and that is so awesome. And the coolest thing about that is the fact that the Mandalorian, the show, by and large, loves everything about Star Wars. It loves the video games. It loves all of the prequel lore. It loves the extended universe. It loves its fucking Timothy Zahn fucking like Heir to the Empire books and shit. It doesn't like kind of say like that this type of Star Wars is for us and not for you and like all that. Like it's not really like not in ways that I think that other Star Wars movies and other Star Wars media has done before. And I think that it's that kind of spirit that I think kind of marries everything together as well as it does. It's a mammoth feat on the part of Filoni and Favreau, or who I've been calling Favroloni. Like
Favroloni.
I love
Favroloni.
I love what you're saying too, because we can't forget that Filoni is the disciple of George Lucas, and I know Helen. Let's talk about that a little bit. We can really start this. We're starting like we don't know how many seasons we're going to get of the Mandalorian. Apparently, they're signed on for 5, which is fantastic. 8 episodes. We always want more. We always wanted more when we were all watching Thrones. But the pacing of the episodes, even if it's a 30-minute episode, they're nailing it. And I think that the people high up in Star Wars, as much flack as they got with the newest trilogy, they just said, okay, Favreau and Filoni must have said, hey, let us do our shit, because some of the other stuff we're going to talk about, like Ezra and Thrawn, like for them to give Favreau and Filoni the keys to that, and that's where we're going in The Mandalorian, is like, whoa for the fandom.
The thing is, they didn't need to bring in, I think the point of bringing all of these characters in is more to spoiler and to make us, curious about a possible spin-off show, right? It's not just to connect the universe. It's to tease their spin-offs that will follow, because obviously Disney wants to make more money, which is fine for me, the more the better. But the thing is, yeah, oh god, where was I? What did I want to say? Yeah, exactly. So I agree that Filoni, this is what I really love, that he wants to include the games as well, and I really like that because I love the old books. I love Heir to the Empire and all of these books, but I think the original games, like literally 15, 20-year-old games, they are still so amazing, where they introduce Spain and where they
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic, one of the best, and it was not just a video game, it gave us lore, right? Because that was then connected to lore, which is so cool. And you see it in the style they film, that they love video games. And this is so cool. And I don't know any show who connects that. I mean, Marvel did it or does it with their cinematic movies, but that's once every 2 years or once every year, and now we get so much.
So it's really interesting that you say that, Helen, because the podcast is surprise. Me, Aziz, and Mikal. Mikal is less sold on The Mandalorian, and we were kind of just chatting privately, and she's like, every episode has got the same formula. And then Aziz brought up the point, which I was thinking in my head before I even typed it. It's like an RPG. It's like it's like you got your side quests, and then you got your main quest, and then you got your side quest that connects to a main quest, and your main quest that connects to a side quest, and that.
You got to slay the dragon in order to get the pearl. If you get the pearl, then you get to level up, and then you get Boba Fett's armor. Exactly.
Like the Beskar spear. It's like the one thing I was talking to you guys, or you a little bit about, Sean, and I was actually talking to Maura about this. The Beskar spear, he's reluctant to take this gift, right? It's like when you you take out a whole town of villains, and that's what it was. It's the magistrate when they talk about that. They took out these villains. Okay, you level up. The Mando wasn't accepting his reward, but when Ahsoka does that, it's like there's a specific point behind that, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to move the quest forward, and a lot of people. It's going to sound funny, but the spear is a phallic symbol. It's a sign of fertility.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
The A and the V, and Ahsoka told the Mando he thinks Grogu thinks of you as a father, and like those like small little storytelling elements.
Big time.
Oh man, like that is RPG-esque. This is great.
Oh, big time. And then and also like I think it's just been interesting insofar as like how, because I do think that this show it's obviously a very broad show. I mean, like we have a character that doesn't talk a lot and show his face, and a baby alien goblin creature that just coos like a baby and is like and you're right and like but emotes in a bunch of kind of very infantile ways. But the coolest thing about that moment with the Beskar spear was, I think this season specifically is about teaching Din Mando to not be so binary with his identity as a Mandalorian, where she's just like, because like his whole thing was like, I didn't get the kill, so I don't get the bounty. I don't get to take that spear because I didn't do that. And she's like,
Death Watch. This is a very Death Watch thing, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah, 100%. He's a fucking homeschool kid all the way. We're just like, I can't take something nice, like if I don't, whatever. And like she was just like, it's Mandalorian, dude. What the fuck am I gonna do with this thing? Like, I already got lightsabers. I don't need this. Like, it belongs with you guys. Plus, you could like smelt it down and make a little baby Beskar egg for the boy, and just make sure that he's like, because that's what I've been saying from word one, where I'm just like, we need to smelt some Beskar, and we need to cover the egg in Beskar so we can protect that boy. So if he gets fucking booted into the mouth of another fucking like sea dragon or whatever it was, like we did in episode 3, like we won't have to worry if he's gonna get crushed in it. You know what I mean? But insofar as like just teaching him to relax a little bit and to be like, and to kind of, and maybe to accept this. He's always defined himself by like his warrior code and who he is as a Mandalorian. And now he can start to do that as a father and like a man.
That's why
stuff like that.
That's why
I think is,
that's why him being reluctant receiving the spear, something, by the way, showcased, look at how the magistrate used it against lightsabers, and who has the Darksaber? Are they setting up Mando spear versus Moff Gideon? Oh man, like that's another thing. But there was so many. That's what I'm saying. There were so many layers to this. There was the symbolism of the spear. There was the Ahsoka. It was like Ahsoka also testing the Mandalorian in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't accept it. She's like, no, you get this. And then she didn't have to tell him what they said in their conversation, but she did after. And she only did it after he didn't accept the spear, which I found really interesting. So all of that, like those layers, that storytelling was just so fantastic. By the way, I have to point something out. I have Audio Technicas. These are super expensive headphones. If you go back and watch, if you have a good pair of headphones, if you go back and watch the conversation between Ahsoka and the first conversation by the campfire, Ahsoka is making sounds with her nose like, and if you put surround sound on, you can actually hear her making like these animalistic sounds. And if you put the surround sound on, you have to listen in, but they're actually speaking through sounds. You have to go watch that scene back again, people, because I missed it the first time because I was just watching it on my TV, and then I watched it on my monitor, and I was like, whoa! I was like, there was like all these other sounds going on. So
I'm going to be going back, and I'm going to be, I mean, like every time every time that I talk anything with Kyle, he's always like, dude, you got to go back. Like, you got to go back and dive deeper. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I do, man. Like, because that, because that, like, I'm going to be like going through that thing, like, you know, time and time again, like the Zapruder film, like now, like, where I'm just going to be like, yeah, you can hear it. That's awesome. But the cool thing about it is the fact that, like, you know, it wasn't like a big pointed moment, like the camera didn't push in and they didn't have subtitles, but it's there and it's there for you. It's there. It's like, and it just kind of shows like the assured kind of simple kind of, I don't know, just kind of boiled down vision of storytelling that they've been kind of doing with this show. That's been really awesome to experience. You know what I mean? Like, it's been really great in that respect.
Helen, speaking of the storytelling, we got a couple of different questions that we're going to get to. One thing that we should point out, the magistrate, by the way, is Bruce Lee's goddaughter.
Fuck yeah. Yep.
I actually have her name here. Magistrate.
Yeah, she's a stunt woman, right?
Yeah, she's been in, I had IMDb up, but I had to.
Diana Lee.
Diana Lee Inosanto. And she plays Morgan Elsbeth, but she's Bruce Lee's goddaughter. And that wasn't the only awesome appearance. Wing Ti Chow, Governor Wing, who's actually been in the Disney fandom since the 70s. He was given awards. So they are bringing people in like Filoni and Favreau that are recognizable from Disney and Star Wars. So that was pretty cool. But I thought that was really
also
cool.
Old 80s, you know, with like Nick Nolte and all these people. I love that they literally, you know, it's like, what are they doing today still? Well, now they're in Star Wars, and you know, like Billy D. Williams coming back for the sequels and all that. It's so cool that they not just cast new faces, but they, you know, bring in these characters.
And it always comes from like a very interesting kind of way of fandom, because I remember the whole Nick Nolte thing kind of came about, or at least I like to think that it came about. It might not have, but there was. Because Nick Nolte read for Han Solo, like almost got Han Solo back in the day. Yeah. And I think, what was it? Patton Oswalt did a bit about how much fun like he would have been, like Nick, like a hungover, cranky Nick Nolte would have been. Like, God damn it, Chewbacca, we gotta fix the goddamn hyperdrive. Like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, which I thought was pretty great. But like so like, their attention to detail in that way, I think, is also. Or like Bill Burr, who's like openly talked shit about how much he doesn't like Star Wars, and they're like, "Okay, oh really? You ready to get paid, dude?" And then they get him in there, and and then
Werner Herzog, you know, Werner Herzog in the first one. He never saw Star Wars, and he was like, "What is this even?"
and now he's a humongous fan, Helen. He loves it.
Right.
I know. Sure. My fellow German.
So we're going to get into some of the Tython stuff. Morley posed a couple of questions, and she gets to do that because she's the most generous,
absolutely
awesome person in our community. But one thing that was revealed, let's kind of rewind a little bit. Ahsoka actually touched on Yoda's speech about anger. And it was almost like she was invoking Yoda about Anakin. And when she mentioned that, I was like, oh man, like she mentioned Anakin, and that's part of the reason why, you know, she's reluctant to train Baby Yoda. But also we found out later on, but the connection between the Mando and Baby Yoda because of their father-son relationship. But one thing that Morley wants to ask the panel here is, who do you think will come teach the child? And she gives a couple of options. Morley says, she says, Ezra. I brought up Luke Skywalker to her. I think we can maybe get Luke Skywalker, or maybe even Mace Windu. That's a bit more of a tinfoily one.
That's the Hail Mary, but an interesting one. I mean, again, you go by Game of Thrones rules, where it's like, until I see Mace Windu's head on a pike, then he can come back. He can come back with one hand.
Look like the Blackfish is not dead, people. He's still alive.
I mean, look at Thrawn.
Right.
Like
that's my canon.
She mentioned Thrawn. That was her whole mission. She mentioned Thrawn, and we were like, who's Moff Gideon's boss? And Helen said it last week, Thrawn.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, if that happens.
Yeah.
We'll throw this one to Helen, and then I'll throw it to you, Sean. I think it's going to be Ezra. I think it's going to be Ezra because one thing that we also saw was the owl that was connected to Ezra that was watching them over on the campfire. Did you guys notice that? Helen?
I remember the little owl guy, and that's a big Rebels reference as far as like I can't remember exactly what it was, but I do.
The owl's name is Morai. For chat,
exactly.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's the daughter. She symbolizes the daughter. There's a very old legend story about the father, the son, and the daughter. And Abeloth, she's like a dark entity, and Luke fought her in many, many, many Legends books. And she's literally the most powerful being in the Star Wars universe. She was in Legends.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and she worked basically for that family, and then Filoni brought into Clone Wars. He brought because Anakin is the chosen one, right? And the chosen one prophecy plays into the father, daughter, son. The son stands for the dark side of the Force. The daughter stands for the light side of the Force, and the father keeps the balance, right? Because Star Wars is about balance, the Sith and the Jedi. You need both, right? And so this is so cool. And Anakin's prophecy was to replace the father. He was not just the chosen one for the universe, but also for that family, right? For the dark and the light side.
Right.
And he refused. And, in the end, the daughter gave her life and she became that owl. And she's now with Ahsoka. And because she saved her. And
very much like how Ben Solo gave his last energy to Rey. So that's kind of a cool thing, too.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's really cool, that they even bring this into it, because I love this, I love this prophecy and this mythology behind Star Wars, because it's not just about lightsaber fights, right? And good versus evil.
That goes into my explanation of why I think it was Ezra, because Ezra also shared a connection with that character. And for her to ask about Thrawn, like, why is Ahsoka looking for Thrawn? Well, because Ezra. So I think Ezra is going to pop up in episode 8. And or wherever Moff Gideon, I think Moff Gideon's gonna I'll just throw this in there to Morley's question. Moff Gideon is gonna be killed by Mando, okay, and then Thrawn's gonna show up like Thanos, right? He's gonna be the last scene of the season.
Oh my God, that's which means, but that means like in this season, you think we're gonna get Thrawn?
Thrawn's
you think
gonna
so?
We're gonna see red eyes on a fucking ship, and he's gonna be there, and Mando's gonna be like, okay, Moff Gideon's done, and then we're gonna see Thrawn, hi, like Thanos.
I used to think that that it would have been hard to keep something like that under wraps, but maybe this is their kind of hat trick, because we've heard about a bunch of the castings and we're like, oh, Rosario got casted, she's probably going to be Ahsoka. Like, they got Tamara Morrison back. Okay, we're probably going to get like a Boba Fett or a Rex or something like that. Yeah. But in season 1, they kept Baby Yoda under wraps, which is crazy. Like, to the point where they said they didn't make any toys or any merchandise or anything like that in order to keep it, which is like for Disney to not sit there and just we gotta make money.
Yep.
We gotta make all the money.
Which is why we could get a Luke Skywalker, like a Sebastian Stan or something. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That would have been that. I would have probably thrown in my hat to go back to the who when they plug Gogurt into the Jedi Wi-Fi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll stop saying it. I just think it's kind of funny, and I'm kind of
the
a
shame
jackass.
bell's going on for you, Sean, from the soundboard.
No. But when we plug him into the Jedi Wi-Fi, the mountain thing or whatever it was
on Tython, yeah,
exactly. And so when that happens, I think that because this crew has been so willing and ready to fully grant and entertain what the fans want, because Katie Sackhoff, we'll fucking do Katie Sackhoff. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? You guys need Rosario Dawson. You guys have been talking about it for years. Let's fucking do it. Who gives a shit? Sebastian Stan has been somebody that's been floated for a while as doing a young Luke, is kind of being a young Luke. And so I don't know. I mean, I think that
he's already signed on with Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's the only reason I say that.
He's it's already, it's like the mafia. It's like he's already in the family. He's already a part of the House of Mouse. And so it's kind of like, hey man, just go across the lot and go talk to these guys. So maybe it could be in the,
and Jon Favreau knows him. You know what I mean? So
the only reason that I would say that I would maybe put points to Luke over Ezra is because I think that this show is very good about telling the story as if you have never seen Rebels or Clone Wars or whatever it is, which I think is a smart move. So they need to kind of start to sprinkle in Ezra stuff before he pops in. Even though, hey, you know what? He could come in. He's got a lightsaber. He's here to save the day. They could totally do it. Cut to black, cliffhanger for the season finale. Who knows? But I think they have to do. They don't have to do as much legwork with Luke showing up, and so maybe they would just go for that. But maybe plan for an Ezra thing. Maybe they start to tease him next season or something like that. That's just sort of just my production kind of mind going there. But I don't know.
So you're 60 Luke, 40 Ezra.
I would go 65, 35 over for Luke. That's where I'm putting my chips.
Okay.
I'm 100% Mace Windu, and I want to. That's my wishful thinking, by the way. And I want to teach Mace. I want to teach Mace. Mace has to teach. Sorry, it's very late, and I'm a bit tipsy. I want I want Mace to teach Grogu. Vapor, because that's the coolest Star Wars fighting technique. It's what Mace is using, and we have seen Baby Yoda, he kind of had some dark force tendencies when he choked what's her name?
Kara.
Kara, when he choked Kara and all that. Yeah. So, and this is when you use vapor, you put your anger into it. And Mace could handle it because, he was still a Jedi, but it's so cool. I would love that. Imagine him teaching vapor to Baby Yoda. That would be cool. And I just love Mace. I just love that character.
So your wishful thinking is Mace, but realistically, I know we've talked about Ezra privately. So you think, which one do you think is more possible, Ezra or Luke, you think? Because I think it's one of the two, I think.
Well, the thing is, if they do the Sebastian Stan or anyone else thingy, they would need to bring him in for a longer time. What they did, what they did to Grand Moff Tarkin, they made him young, right? And they cut all the Leia scenes, and they de-aged all of these characters. So maybe they're de-aging Mark Hamill, and that could be a thing, because one thing is for you or very many people might not accept a new Luke. I mean, look what happened to Han Solo. Look what happened to that guy.
That's true. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair observation.
I think one thing that we should insert into the conversation as well is chat. Give us your answers on who you think the Jedi could possibly be, because Jedi's going to show up. Another Jedi.
I think I'm turning. I think I want Mace Windu now. Now I want to see. Come on. And also it'd be kind of, we could do a little bit of world building with Mace, where he's.
Where was he when he dropped down that?
Well,
Samuel Ellis said he wants to play Mace again.
Yeah.
I think he'd be great. And like also just in the fact that like, you know, you could do kind of very similar to how Rosario kind of, you know, is playing like a different shade of the character because there's been so much time they can kind of do. So we can kind of get like, maybe it's like, you know, Mace Windu, he gets his arm cut off, he gets shot with a bunch of lightning, gets thrown out of a fucking building, and he's just like, and he has his kind of like Ahsoka moment where he's like, fuck the Jedi Order, I don't need any of that stuff. And we can have like a little more of a Lucy, like kind of like loosey-goosey, like Samuel L. Jackson. Like, I just want Samuel L. Jackson to call Grogu, like, to say like motherfucker to Grogu, like once on the show. Like, that's what I want. I mean, like I think we can get it, or at least, or maybe like, oh God, what would it be like it's like a bantha fucker or something like that. There's some play on words.
You know what just popped in my head? You know what just popped in my head too? What popped in my head too is if a Jedi doesn't come, but then Moff Gideon is about to kill Mando, and then Baby Yoda uses the dark side of the Force. Whoa. And then a Jedi comes because the dark side is very like it's like almost like it has more of a marker, you know what I mean? For Jedi, like a Jedi might be like, oh, the dark side is here. And then Baby Yoda has this like problem, because the one thing that was also mentioned, which we should get into, is he hid his powers. Coruscant. Anakin didn't kill Baby Yoda. What the hell happened there? That's another huge bombshell.
First of all, what did Yaddle and Yoda do? Like, I mean, shame, Kyle, put your shame thingy on, because what is forbidden in the Jedi Order? And then, you know, Yaddle just disappeared. Where's Yaddle gone? Hashtag looking for Yaddle.
I think that is like, I think that was the one thing, if I had, and I don't have a lot of criticisms of this episode at all. And this is just more of just like, maybe just like a general criticism of just like how just TV is kind of written sometimes. I was having slight Walking Dead flashbacks with this episode where all of a sudden we have Ahsoka who can talk to Grogu. She can talk with this kid. And so what I would have been doing, at least if that had been me, if I were Jin, if I were Mando, I would have been being like, okay, I got like 50 fucking questions. So you grew up on Coruscant? Like, what do they call your species? What planet do you come from? Do you remember it? Like all that type of stuff. Like there's so many things that I would just be like trying to check off, but like they kind of don't pick it up because they want it to remain mysterious. But like I remember, like, and she even kind of said, I think his memory's kind of been fading or something like that.
It went dark after that.
But I think one very interesting kind of tidbit in there is going to be who got him out.
Yeah, exactly.
While like because they said somebody. It wasn't. They didn't delineate who exactly like it was that got Grogu out. So I think that's going to be a very interesting thread.
It could be So my first thought was, that Wookiee that got Yoda out and brought Yoda. I think he brought him first to Kashyyyk, and then I do not know wherever he did hide. Maybe that Wookiee, because
Chewbacca. I think that was like literally Chewbacca, right?
I don't think it was Chewie. I think it was somebody else because Chewie was not on the ship with him. I do not remember the name. Maybe the chat can help out, but maybe that, because literally, I mean, Anakin killed everybody there. So, but what is weird is that they then said he went dark, and he kind of, so that must mean somebody evil took him, right? Because if he would be why would he try to hide his, or maybe then he got kidnapped again, because we know Palpatine was looking for
and then
Jedi.
we have the whole Dr. Pershing and the client stuff. They talked about the volunteer as if this person was volunteering. And Helen, we floated the idea that, because we know that Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker was trying to drain Rey and Ben Solo of their life force. And Pershing said he can only get a certain amount of blood to help
before he kills him.
But then we see a Snoke clone in the in the friggin' last episode. We see.
Do you think that was a Snoke clone? I don't think it was a Snoke clone.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I think they're trying to figure out dudes to. I think they're trying to do the super soldier, even though they totally might be. I mean, like, because all bets the Rise of Skywalker with the cloning stuff, with like the pickled Snokes and everything. Like, it's like we just have to think about this now, just like the same way that we like have to think about Palpatine like having like a physical relationship with somebody, you know what I mean? Like come over.
Well, he hadn't let. I would have done him. Like, hello, Sean. I would have done Palpy. I mean,
oh my God! Stop.
Well, it's like right. It's like, my darling, I've put on some candles and some soft music. My come to the dark side. Like that's I mean,
by the way,
I'm turned on. I'm very turned on right now.
By the way, horny jail for the both of you.
Hey.
Dustin Dre says Jedi in the streets, Yaddle in the sheets. Yeah,
dude. Absolutely. It's like, I've taught Yaddle all she knows. Like that's like how. That's
also the chat is more on Ezra. Slight lean to Ezra.
I can see that. I mean, like I think I think
the owl.
I mean, I think the owl is definitely like a really clear indicator. I just think that if they are going to do it, just because of just how it seems like how the show has kind of carried itself, as in like because we all these motherfuckers know about Ezra, but like my mom, like I always think about watching some of this stuff, like as in like as I put myself in my mom's shoes, and like they're kind of playing a little bit like the baseline is to that audience, so they're gonna have to like possibly start to like sprinkle in like Ezra stuff, because was Ezra referenced at all? Mm. Other than tangentially, because we know that him and Thrawn get sucked into the abyss, like with like the whales or whatever it was.
But why else would Ahsoka be looking for Thrawn is the question. That's
100%.
Right?
No. I agree. I just think that they're gonna have to kind of like we're gonna have to get Ezra name dropped at some point if he's going to show up this season. I think it's very possible that he shows up in season 3. 100%.
Yeah, because it's literally way too many characters that they're dropping, right? This is still a show about the Mandalorian. I think it would literally be an overload if they now say Ezra and Ezra's mom and Ezra's mom's cousin, and
By the
way, Grogu is in the chat.
I was just gonna say that.
Wait, is he here?
Yeah.
Gogurt, it's so good to see you, Lord Gogurt. Like, amazing. Welcome.
But by the way, I have some new emojis, chat. Not only do we have the Baby Yoda emoji with the Mando helmet for those who hit that join button, but now we have the Ahsoka emoji, and we have Chewbacca emoji in the chat as well. So we got
I love it.
For those who hit that join button, get badges and emojis in chat. Let's continue the conversation. Let's continue the conversation now, because Tython, Helen, was thought where the first Jedi
Old Republic.
Yeah, it's thought where maybe the first Jedi temple ever was, right? So can you talk a little bit about that?
The Jedi.
The Jedi. Two eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they were the predecessors of the later Jedi. Yeah.
So what do you think? Because that's pretty significant, right? For Moff Gideon is going to go, like they're tracking the Razor Crest. It's gonna there's going to be a big battle on this place, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do we think he goes straight there? Is that the next quest, so to say, or is that because we have 3 episodes left, right? 6, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a really interesting question, because Baby Yoda, Grogu, and Mando, they're going to be there alone. Who else is going to be with them?
Right?
Yeah. Well,
and what I thought about, because look, Bo-Katan told him where Ahsoka is, right? But it's not like Ahsoka did hang on that weird planet for years. She literally must have gone there. That means Bo-Katan is in direct contact with Ahsoka, because she knew. She just went to that planet to have that whatever woman working for Thrawn killed. We want to find Thrawn.
So you think Bo-Katan could have thought the Mando could be helpful to Ahsoka in a way? Maybe.
No, what I want to say is they're in direct contact. It's not like Bo-Katan tipped her off and said Ashoka now lives on a farm in, I don't know, near Dagobah. That's not what she said. She said she is there right now, right? So they must be talking at the moment.
They're texting. They're texting like all the time.
Texting, exactly. So they're on WhatsApp, and
because we got to see Bo-Katan again, right? Like,
we will see. This is what I want to say, and they will. I think Bo-Katan will come in again. And Bo-Katan, I think now the Darksaber plot needs to play out again. And the Darksaber plot is different, for me at least, from the Thrawn plot. I think at the moment these two are not really connected. And what I want to ask you boys, don't you think, because Thrawn, again, he is actually not a fan of the Emperor. He is not a pro-Empire. His agenda is to save his people, the Chiss, the Chiss ascendancy, right? And there's a bigger threat for the Chiss. And Thrawn just helps the people he thinks are the most powerful that can aid him, right? This is Thrawn's thinking. It's not like he loves the Emperor. No. And the thing is, maybe at this point, because the Emperor is gone, I mean, he's wherever he is, but he's no longer powerful. So maybe at this point, Thrawn is maybe working against, or there are two fractions, because
Sean,
we
you wrote
never
this down,
had,
right? So
this was the one question that I had that I thought was the most interesting, and it's maybe the one other thing that about this season that I can kind of maybe knock it just a little bit is insofar as the fact that how much, like, because the hero, obviously we get a lot of play with like the heroes and stuff, but like how criminally underdeveloped Moff Gideon is.
yes,
Giancarlo Esposito is an award-winning actor,
and I love Giancarlo. Like, give him all the jobs and all the money. He's been an incredible character actor for like 30 fucking years, and and he's just, and I mean, it's Moff Gus Fring. I mean, it's what you would want in a Star Wars, but like, I don't know shit about what makes that guy tick, about what he like kind of really believes in, like, because like the whole idea of him like wanting to get Grogu and to harvest like the Force, to harvest midichlorians or whatever the fuck it is from Grogu to probably power up those dark troopers that we have, right? I mean, like, there's like a whole interesting kind of angle where he what if like, just like a 2-minute scene where he talks about like how frustrated he was because like Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader can use the Force. We could have used that at the Battle of Endor, and maybe we would still be in power right now. But these two assholes want to just keep it all for themselves. So you know what I'm saying? So you're
saying you don't know if Moff Gideon and Thrawn are even like allies.
To my thing, that's what I think. I think that they're rivals. I think that I think so too. I think that the Empire has been split, and whenever there's a power vacuum, like there are splinters of like people that are trying to kind of take over. And so what I think that probably what I'm guessing is that Thrawn is commanding the lion's share of what remains of the Empire and the fleet, and I think that Moff Gideon is maybe like an outlier, like a Moff Gideon. Like Moff Gideon are the
he's like the 10% fascist party or something like that.
No, like he is asking for a recount, like right now, like, you know what I'm saying, like Moff Gideon, he's like the crazy 10% that's like, no, we're gonna put Force into these robot dark trooper guys, and it's gonna be awesome, and like whatever, and Thrawn's just like, fuck the fuck out of here, like we're gonna get, and because like we kind of know that like Thrawn is probably, there's going to be whatever Thrawn's building is going to kind of be taken and turned into what eventually becomes the First Order or something like that, maybe possibly, like maybe, I mean, like, I don't know, but like insofar as I think that, so I don't think that, I
like
think
a big four-way battle. Oh my god,
that could be cool, dude. I mean,
but I think, Sean, if you say his side, I don't think Thrawn's side will become the First Order, because who's doing the experiments? Who has the weird whatever body that is? That is Moff Gideon. I do think Moff Gideon is on that side. The Emperor still, and And I do think, because we don't know in the new canon, we don't know that Thrawn helped the Emperor. He was not mentioned anywhere. We don't know what happens to Thrawn at the moment. I think Thrawn is like a rival to the Emperor, who's now very, very weak. And I think Gideon is doing the contingency plan. I don't know, have you heard of the contingency plan? Yeah, I think Gideon is the contingency plan guy, and I think Thrawn is the next big thing next to the Emperor, because the Emperor is weak right now. Thrawn might take over.
That's really interesting, because I keep on thinking of politics, like when people start infighting in a party, an opposite, when the incumbent wins again, and the Labor, we'll use the UK for example, Jeremy Corbyn, they got him out of there, you know what I mean, and then they put someone else in there, and they kind of pounced on him, even though he wasn't really the problem. There was other problems, you know what I mean? It's like this infighting. It's like trying to climb the ladder like Littlefinger, right?
No, I was gonna say, because I think because to what Helena was talking about, is that insofar as Thrawn has never really been his whole thing was, he goes the crawling up the ladder of the Empire was always a means to an end of his higher goal. He wasn't a true believer in the Empire, which sort of makes him what you just said, Kyle, was him being like Littlefinger in a way, where he's just I know how to play this fucking game, and I can ascend this ladder and stuff, and that's the coolest thing. Because I think about it,
he's the intelligence officer, Sean. He's the intelligence officer of the Empire. Absolutely. So he knows more than everybody else. We do got another donation, so we'll continue on this point for a little bit longer again. Woo! Toss a coin to your YouTubers. Do. 100%. Dan's another great content creator, guys. If you want to go check him out, Voice of Geekdom.
My homie.
100%.
So this is just based on. So let's expand on the point, and because now Helen has me convinced that Moff Gideon is trying to get Baby Yoda's blood for Emperor Palpatine, and that's kind of where we were a couple episodes ago, right, Helen? And then we're like, we don't know, because now Thrawn's into the question. The question is, what do we think the Empire, what was the reason for taking Baby Yoda's blood? Sean, you said maybe for the Dark Troopers. Helen, you think it's for Palpatine. Now we're into this discussion of what we really don't know, what the hell Dr. Pershing was doing. Could it be clones? Could it be whatever? I'm now convinced, because Helen's smarter than I am on Star Wars, that it's still for Palpatine, because that's kind of where we started with it. But you guys, what are your thoughts on it? So it's really, because they were transfusing it in, and now if we do have two different factions and Moff Gideon is working for the Emperor, then that makes sense. But now Thrawn's into the question, and now I'm a bit confused.
No, I think that the Rise of Skywalker opened up a big can of worms in a lot of ways that I think that a lot when they got that treatment, all of kind of the extended universe, writers of comics and novels and shit like that, were looking at that, and they were just going, okay, we got to think about this now, and I don't know that I wonder if because I myself enjoy kind of the contained elements about this story, and how it's a little, it will start to reach into some of the greater picture, but it kind of is steering away from the Palpatine and the Skywalkers of it all, just because it's it's a huge it's a huge universe, and we haven't been able to make any of these fucking movies except about only the same 5 or 6 characters. And
this is what Disney wants to do. They want to steer away from Luke, because we grew up with Luke, but all the younglings now, buying and watching, but the young people now, they don't have the connection to Luke and Leia like we did. I think they kind of want to get rid of these people and want to bring in new characters for the new generation.
Yeah, and that comes from that. I mean, that is why we got Bo-Katan. That is why we got Ahsoka. That's why we're potentially going to get an Ezra and Thrawn and everybody. I mean, it has been this giant untapped well that they've kind of have been sitting on, and so
the Filoni-verse.
Yes, exactly. And so like, yeah. And so what I hope that it doesn't have shit to do with Palpatine. I really do. Like, I hope.
Oh my God, no.
I mean, like, I really hope that it doesn't. But it could be in the cards. I think that if I got these big Uruk-hai looking Master Chief motherfuckers, like, that he's got, because that's what they kind of look like. They sort of look like that, like, and like.
You're so poetic with words, man. I'm so glad I have you.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. I speak 2 languages, English and bad English. But basically, like, if I'm doing that, if you could get, like, if I'm thinking militarily, where you're just like, if I can get a squadron of dark force using soldiers that look like, I don't, and again, like, that's why I think
so
maybe
like
they
Kylo
are
Ren lights. Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Or something. And so, like, I don't know. I think that it's something to that end. And because the fact that I don't think that it's going to be connected, I think that Moff Gideon is dying at the end of the season. I think that they're clearing the board a little bit.
But
I think
Sean,
they're clearing the board a little bit.
Robbie Meeson, a friend of the channel who we got to meet at Con of Thrones last year, he says he thinks Moff Gideon wants it for himself. That's also very interesting.
Yeah, I think, and also he definitely, like, everything that he wears is very Vader-esque. He's even got he's got the control things. Like, it's very Vader-esque. He's got himself his makeshift, he's got himself his laser sword. He's got the Darksaber and stuff.
And look what the rule of 2 is. There's an apprentice and a master, and now Moff Gideon, the apprentice, is taking over the rule of 2.
Now we got all the apprentices fighting over the throne, Iron Throne, essentially.
Totally, 100%.
By the way, chat, you guys are lit in there and hype, and I love it. We got 50 people in here. We appreciate that for hanging with us on a Saturday. We're going to keep this going because we have a few more big talking points to keep going. I know it's kind of late for Helen, but you can stick around for another 20 minutes or so, Helen.
Yeah, I'm good. I have my wine. I might need a refill, and I think Sean might appreciate my bar over there.
Yeah, there you go, gal. Absolutely. That's what you got, a nice little stock going. You gotta have yourself at least, and that's the sign of an adult, is like when you got yourself like at least like 5 bottles of something in the house.
Gin.
Like,
She's a gin lover.
Like, there you go. Hell yeah, 100%.
So
no, yeah. So but no, like let's continue. What was the next thing on the docket?
No, that was the one question from the donation. One of the things that we were talking about, kind of the power vacuum. We have a couple of other things. We talked, that was definitely one of the questions. And then also Grand Admiral Thonwick, what does he do? Like, what are his aspirations? And Helen kind of touched on that. Chat, also put your thoughts on what you, like, who you think the blood and the power is for, because now there's this power vacuum in the Empire, which is really interesting. Maybe Moff Gideon is the antagonist. It would be a shame if he just died at the end of season 2. I'm kind of on the same truck as you, Sean, with that, in the sense that they cast Giancarlo Esposito. I kind of have this expectation that he's going to do something really badass.
They haven't done shit with him yet, though. Like, that's the only like. All I need is like 2 or 3 fucking minutes, like every episode, because some of these are, they're like 30 minutes or so, whatever, and I need more. But just like, give me like one cut scene and just let me pick this guy's brain a little bit, just to see where he's coming from. That's the only. If I had to knock this season for one thing, it would be that we introduced him. He steps out with the Darksaber, and we really haven't developed it very much, like, to what I think we could. Now,
we always stay in one plot, which is weird. I find that weird as well.
But is this a screen test for a spinoff? Is the question? I might be eating.
Right. I mean, like, I might be eating my fucking words though. Like, and it's going to be like, we're going to have a completely 100% Moff Gideon solo episode, like, where it's like what they did with Kingpin and Daredevil, where it's just like, nope, we're getting, you know what I mean? Like, which I would love, by the way. But I think that it just seems like if they haven't started to put that meat on the bone, like this so far this season, I think he's fucking done. I think Bo-Katan's gonna fucking take him out and get the Darksaber. I think that's in the cards.
One thing that's also interesting, I'll pose a question to the both of you. We talked about kind of the RPG elements of the Mandalorian, side quest episodes and then main episodes. So maybe next episode is another side quest, and then we get like a 2-parter finale type deal. Like Mando gets there in episode 7, and then we have 2 episodes on that Tython planet that and like 50 minutes each. That could be like really epic. You know, maybe we take another side trip to Navarro and get the gang again or something like that. That'd be kind of like weird, but I don't know. I just have it like, also those characters I feel like could do more. You know, Grief Karga has his own motivations, and Gina Carano got handed, you know, like we could see the Alliance show up, the Rebel Alliance kind of deal, and then things start to get really crazy and all of that. So question to you guys, what do you think? Do we get another side quest episode after this banger? And is it like a 2-parter? What are your thoughts on that?
What do you think, Helena?
I do think Bo-Katan now will show up. I just had a thought. Okay, can I pitch this to you?
Yeah.
So, sorry, my cat.
Someone from chat has an awesome thought.
No. So I thought about Bo-Katan wants the Darksaber, right? And she had it before and she lost it. And in Mandalore, it's like the one who deserves it and you have to fight for it to get it, right? So what if she doesn't get it from Gideon? But what if Jin, Jin, what if Jin gets it? What if Din gets it, right? And we know Bo-Katan and Sabine had that scene where she said, you know, I'm not worthy of it. She took it on later. But
Which
this is
very
very Mandalorian. This is very this is very Mandalorian. So maybe if he has it, I mean, he's not born and raised from a Mandalore clan, but this is a new world, right? He is still a Mandalorian. They're open for business and visitors, right? So I would find that really cool. Maybe there is a problem then there because Death Watch is a sect kind of, right? And he was raised there. So maybe there is something, because this is still the Mandalorian, right? We need to get back to that mythology one day. And maybe there's conflict there between him and Bo-Katan, because between these two fractions, between Death Watch, the children of Death Watch now have the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan fighting them. That could also be a cool plot, because this is what I say. I love all the side quests and I love all the bigger universe stuff and going to Coruscant and whatnot and Jedi Temple. But I also love the Mandalorian stuff because we will get other shows, and maybe this is something they're setting up. Just a thought.
I think that's totally fair. I mean, like, I think that insofar as I think that kind of ties in both what you were talking about and what Kyle was talking about, insofar as like because of, I mean, obviously, like I pretty much, this show is so well made that even if we are spinning our tires a little bit and we kind of, and the plot doesn't really move forward, i.e. Ice Spiders, even though they were fucking sick, you know, like, or whatever. But like, even like, I love those episodes, but I do think that, you know, and definitely like we've had definitely the last like handful of episodes, we have been expanding this universe like greatly, like in ways that I'm sure a lot of fans are thrilled by, but like maybe a bit quicker than I would have. Because if you told me, yo, dude, next season we're getting Boba Fett and we're getting Bo-Katan and we're getting Ahsoka and we're getting Thrawn, it's a lot. And so I just think that I say I'm with you insofar as I think that there might be like maybe one more adventure timey type of episode, and then we start to get into the end game. But hopefully, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, is that we do kind of now that we kind of got like Ahsoka and Bo-Katan on the Rolodex, and we got their contact information, and when we need to call them, we can call them. You know what I'm saying? Like now that they're there, we can kind of start to refocus it back onto Grogu. I'm trying not to say Grogu, everybody. I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying. Like we can sort of start to refocus it a little bit.
You know, it's really interesting. You know, what's really interesting is the idea that you brought up, the Civil War type of deal between Moff Gideon and Thrawn. What if we have it on both sides? Death Watch, Civil War on both sides going into season 3.
Ooh, I like that. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, and I think that, and to Helena's point, I think that the show needs to, now that we kind of have truly kind of opened the world up and truly set the stage for the possibilities. Now I really want to see it start to kind of get into the nitty gritty those types of issues, because
it reminds me of
so
Clone Wars, man. The Clone Wars.
There's so much
formula.
to do. There's so much. Yes, exactly.
And it reminds me of that blueprint, Sean. It's Sean and Helen, like the blueprint of Clone Wars. Like you have all of these things. Like it took a couple of seasons to get into, but like look at what happened at the end of Clone Wars. They had the Siege of Mandalore. They're headed towards that.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the final season, that type of big battle thing. And each season will build up to this one big thing in the end. You know what I mean? And we'll have, oh my God, it's just, you're really right though. The possibilities are endless with these characters being introduced.
Yeah. And I think that just making it that broad, I mean, yeah, cause like, and again, like maybe, I don't know, like, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I do think that we are going to have like a scene like where they're at the mountain, we're at the, you know, we're getting ready to plug Gogurt into the Jedi Wi-Fi.
I did it again.
I don't think I can stop it. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Yeah, okay.
No, but I think so. We're getting ready to plug him in, and then Moff Gideon and the Uruk Master Chiefs are going to show up, right? And we're gonna be like, holy shit, what are we gonna do? We're outgunned. Like, how are we gonna, like, who's gonna save us? And Bo-Katan just got like took over like a bunch of arms. Just got like, you know, she's ready to bust back because she's got like a lot of hardware now. And I think that they're going to kind of swoop in Knights of the Vale style. And we're going to have this big, we're going to have this big Bo-Katan Mandos versus the Uruk Master Chiefs,
the Dark Troopers.
I think that's going to be kind of the framework of the final of the final episode. I feel like that's going to happen.
But then we're like, oh man, like that was a hard fought battle. Like Rebels always take huge losses, and then boom, Grand Admiral Thrawn's been watching everything, and he's like, you guys think Moff Gideon was shit?
Yeah.
Salt Bay on that. He's like, look at my huge fleet.
No, I think that, or like he's going to be that whole like almost like Azula in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's you were never even a player on the fucking chessboard that I'm working on, buddy. Like what if if it was part of his machinations? There's a ton of stuff they can do with Thrawn. But yeah, I mean, like I think that Moff Gideon dies. I think he dies at the end of this season.
Really think so? That would mean. Yeah.
Well, no. I insofar as just say they have given him so little. He's been kind of an empty suit. But
maybe that's what. But maybe there's a big reveal with him at the end of the season that blows us away, and we're like, oh shit, he's not just some. You know, underling of Thrawn at all. He's actually up there with him. I think they could be
Moff, right?
Yeah, they could be setting us up. Helen, what are your thoughts on that? Because that's actually a possibility, right? They're setting us up.
I would prefer that.
Look, it's the same like last season. Last season, we thought the client was a big deal, right? But then came in the bigger fish, and Moff Gideon actually just showed up in the last 3 or 2 episodes.
Handful, yeah, 1 or 2, 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, so there are still 3 left, like I said, and I still think, you know, they teased the soldiers now, him having them going for having the tracking device on his ship. So I don't think he will die, because I really want, or I don't want him to die, because I want the 2 baddies. Yeah, I want the 2 baddie fractions, Thrawn, who might come in, and Moff to fight, because that's my canon now.
Yeah,
I think that and you could kind of have like similar to like Rogue One, like how they had like kind of Krennic and Grand Moff Tarkin were kind of, and Vader were kind of sniping at each other, because it's like this. Yeah. The Empire is always like murder fascist, like Office Space, basically. Yeah. Like it's like these people that work together but they hate each other. You know what I mean?
I remember the Emperor was the Emperor, and Darth Vader wasn't, you know what? He wasn't top dog.
He was a lieutenant. He was the muscle. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting kind of way to look at things. And one thing too, like I don't think we're getting Thrawn this season. Like he's a season 3 thing. Like like he might show up like last scene as the season or something like that. But I don't think they would as you said, there's so much already in this season, and we still got a Boba Fett thing. Like, he only popped in for like.
Where the F is Boba? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, somewhere out there, there's a Boba. Like unless there could be like, oh man, like I mean, there could be like a thing.
What if he shows up and takes the Darksaber? Like, you know what I mean? Like something crazy like that.
I would, yeah. And there's a bunch of different things that they could do with Boba too. That I think that they could go a bunch of different ways. They could go like a very kind of interesting, like, you know, like a guy who was brought up, who was cloned by his father. He didn't choose the bounty hunter life. Like, did falling into the Sarlacc pit like make him want to rethink things or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, he clearly hasn't moved on. You know what I mean? Like he's a very different person, it seems like now. And so you could go that way, or like, would it be cool? It'd also be cool to just make him just like a fucking mustache twirling badass and kind of like, I don't know, sort of like he could finally start to cash the checks that he was writing back in the 80s, because he just looked so cool, but then he ended up like getting just like accidentally knocked into a Sarlacc pit like a fucking schmuck. You know what I mean? Like,
and he was supposed to be the best, you know. But the thing is, and the thing is, he was a bounty hunter. He would have worked for anyone. He didn't give a you know, about who he worked for, right? And I think that is still who he is. He doesn't care about the Mandalorians. He doesn't care about the Empire. I don't think that character changed, because that would mean another character on that or that side. I think Boba comes in as this completely blank Westerner. We don't know what's he doing. I find that cool that we don't know his agenda.
And now that we have Ahsoka, Helen, also Rex, because Tamora Morrison was rumored to play not only Boba but Rex as well. Like, that's another thing. Like,
he must be 1,000 years old by now, and don't the clones age faster? I remember they age faster. Like, how old is
somebody? I think somebody did the math. I think on some message board. I think like he would be the equivalent of about 82 or 84 years old or something like that, which is like. Oh yeah, which is old as fucking shit. So like you know, it would be. I think they could do it, but I think like the closest we're gonna get to it is the fact that like there's like that one guy who's dressed up like a stormtrooper, has the beard, and they're like, oh yeah, that's totally Rex. Like, I don't know. I think they're gonna be going more in the Boba direction. Just because
I think so.
There's
because
a lot more.
I want to sell Boba toys. Yeah, and I want to buy more Boba toys. So please.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Oh no.
Could you the helmet.
Could you imagine if they made like if he was 84 years old and they started to make toys of like an old? It was like, oh look at now he can. It's like now with like action applesauce or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I just want to mention Obi-Wan, because look at all these characters now. They literally haven't. I mean, Luke basically gave up, but the desert didn't really become him because he was actually not that old. We know now. But,
No, exactly. Yeah, it's like
he was a grandpa.
It's the same with it's kind of the same with like the X-Men movies, like how like, you know, it's like James McAvoy somehow from within the span of like 10 years goes from looking like James McAvoy, which I mean, come on, I mean like good Lord, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like and then you have that going from that to Patrick Stewart, who again, good Lord, but much older, you know what I mean? Like, or at least he seems much older. So yeah, I don't know. But I think that like we were saying, Kyle, there's a tremendous amount of possibilities. And I do think that the show needs to kind of constrict a little bit. We've been expanding. I think we need to kind of constrict and become a little bit more focused on like one thread. And I think that's where it's going to be.
I think we'll get that in the final 2 episodes for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
But, you know, we're going to wrap up the stream here, people. If you've enjoyed everything so far, we're going to give our final predictions for the next couple of episodes. But if you're enjoying this conversation, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Also subscribe to these awesome people. The Clueless Fangirl. Her links are in the description of the video. Helen, and also Sean Tanktop. Links are in the description of the video. If you want to support the channel, you can hit that join button or check out my Patreon. Links are in the description of the video. But if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. Just hit that like button and subscribe. So now we're at the point where, you know, a lot has happened this season. We're kind of getting towards the end here. It's going to be hard to top this episode. I'm trying to think, like, could there be another episode this season that's going to be good at this? Certainly. It could be. I mean, like I mean, if they are starting to deliver on some of these things that we talked about in this episode, like getting a Luke or an Ezra or a Thrawn, like something like that, I think we're gonna get another huge. I think episode 8 is going to be absolutely insane. And those 7 and 8 for last season were both 50 minutes. So I think we'll get like another 40-minute episode, and then we'll get like a good 2-hour and like, you know, 2-part finale type deal. So I guess what I'm going to ask my panel here, prediction for the next episode, and then maybe since Sean's not going to be rejoining us, give kind of a banger for the finale of the season. So Helen, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode?
All I want to see now is Samuel L. Jackson coming back. I can't think about anything else.
It's like yes,
but it's purple lightsaber, inscription,
I just want him just like getting whip that purple light. So it's like, yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burned in hell, you know, or something like that. Like get all the old hits coming out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
So Helen, side quest or another banger next episode?
I don't think we will have more side quests. I think Ahsoka, I think Bo-Katan will come in now, and more Moff Gideon. I think the last 3 episodes, Moff Gideon, and Sean will be very happy about that. And yeah, I do think in the end they will go, like the last scene is some Titan seeing stone, you know, it's similar to that scene where Luke was on that island on that stone. So I think that's the last shot we'll get. And then we have to wait and see 1 year. Is a baddie coming? Is a Sith coming? Or is a Jedi coming for him? Or is nobody coming? Or is Lando coming?
That's actually really amazing, Helen, because you think that like the first part of the season we got some side quests, they're just gonna raise the volume to 11, like just boom, like we were hit with, like this episode wasn't like necessarily crazy pacing, but it could be absolutely crazy for the next 3 episodes. You're right, Helen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, you know, insofar, I mean, like, even just from the jump, like, because I thought that Ahsoka wasn't going to show up until about 10 or 15 minutes into the episode, and now all of a sudden it's like there's fucking 2 fucking white, like all of a sudden it's like you're just like, no, motherfucker, like wake the fuck up, like threw like cold water on you, like you're late for school or something. Yeah, I mean, I think it will be okay. I think the next episode may potentially be side quest ish. And what I mean by that is like insofar as like the same way that I think episode 4 was kind of side quest ish, but it did give us new information. We started to get some new information about what they wanted Baby Yoda for. I think there's going to be like one little thing. I think that it's just because they featured Bo-Katan so heavily in the previously on episode before this, she was just like so prevalent in there. I think they're just trying to keep her in our minds a little bit, like even though she wasn't in this episode at all. And I think
they're saving her a little bit for some other episodes.
I think so. And so I think that maybe he could possibly link back up with them, and he's like, okay, cool, I got to go to this one thing, or like, because what I thought was going to happen, because like after we had like that killer fight with the Beskar, you know, staff and everything, I thought that because the tracker was on the fucking ship and he left Baby Yoda in the ship, I thought they were going to come back and the cradle was going to be empty. I thought that's what I thought was going to happen. You'll see it. I'm still in the process of editing my reaction, but you'll see like I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh man, like Baby Yoda's fucking gone, and they're gonna have to get in the family van and go save him or whatever the fuck, you know. And like, and I thought it was going to happen. Like, but the fact that like they didn't means that I think that Gideon is gonna insert himself into the main narrative like pretty quickly, if not like midway through this next episode, then definitely at the end. And we're going to have to kind of, you know, we're going to be button heads with him.
It would be extremely interesting if somehow Baby Yoda got kidnapped and they had to go get Ahsoka again. Because Ahsoka, I thought she was going to be more reluctant, but they shared a pretty strong bond. And if something happened, I think if something happened to Baby Yoda, Ahsoka would be down for some fighting.
And I think that she also understands, she more than anyone, just given her everything that she's seen throughout the years and throughout the saga, like knows the stakes of like Force users, like as especially like very powerful Force users and like just like the ramifications that they can have like on the world writ large. And so I think that if something were to happen and he texts her, he hits her up on WhatsApp and he's like, girl, they fucking he's like, girl, they took the kid. Like, I need some help. If you could fucking back me up. Like, I'm calling, like they're calling everybody. Exactly. No, seriously. I mean, like, I think that it's totally in the cards that could or would happen, because I do think that, I think Moff is going to come in pretty. I'm hoping, because I really want to get to know Moff Gideon. I want to get to know Moff Gideon, like very, what I mean, like I really do. Like, I mean, like, like for a multitude of reasons. But just to see like where his head's at, what he's taking, I think that we're going to possibly start to do that in this episode, and then that's leading toward the final confrontation with the Master Chiefs, Dark Troopers, and Bo-Katan kind of leading the way.
So that's your banger prediction for the final episode. We're gonna get we're gonna get a serious throwdown for the Darksaber.
I think right, and unless Ahsoka gets wrapped into that, he's going to bequeath the spear to Bo-Katan to fight Moff Gideon with it, I think he's going to be, because he doesn't want it. He was like, no, I don't. He's already said he doesn't want it, but maybe this Mandalorian, maybe Bo-Katan is the one that needs it so she can get back to Dark.
Her holding a spear. Oh,
yeah, dude, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's where I would kind of throw some of my money. Like,
well, I like it. Helen, what are your thoughts on that to wrap it up?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think Bo-Katan can fight with that thingy, because what we learn in Star Wars, everybody has a style of fighting, like that lady did fight like a samurai, with that thingy. Ahsoka finally got back to her. I don't know if you recognized, boys, but Ahsoka got back to her first season Clone Wars fighting when she took the lightsaber like that. Yeah. And she just had one lightsaber. I love that. And I think everybody has a certain way of fight, but that would mean a disadvantage for her if she had to fight with that thingy. But then we saw what it could do, right? I'm still stuck on Mace Windu, people. I don't know.
Oh my God, no! I mean, like, yeah.
I'm shaming the both of you for Mace Windu, because you're getting my hopes up for Samuel L, and we're not going to get it.
I make a fan fiction now.
Right, there you go. Absolutely. Like, or no, he comes back. Here's bigger twist, because they own them all and stuff like that. He shows up, but who's riding in the in the holodeck thing though? Because he needed a ride. He called up his friend Nick Fury from a galaxy far into the future, and so we get two Samuel L. Jacksons talking to one another.
Oh my God!
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I mean. So it's like.
And plot twist, my cat is the cat from Nick Fury.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did anybody catch the loft cat in the town, by the way?
I remember I saw that. That was great. I was like, I remember I saw that. That was a nice touch to see.
And remember, Ezra shares a connection with the loft cats as well. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think that connections. I think that Ezra is in the cards. I don't know if it's I wouldn't bet money that it's going to happen this season, but if you were like season 3, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like I think season 3 for sure. I mean, like if not we
could have a few characters getting killed off in the final episode, something like that, like a Grief Karga or Cara Dune or something like that. I do. Okay, actually, final question before we end. Do you think we're going to get a spin-off series? Because they're introducing a lot of characters. I think we're getting kind of a screen test. Like, this isn't the only time we're going to see Ahsoka, right? Like, I think we got to see more of her, right?
If you cast somebody like Rosario Dawson, she's a big Hollywood actress, right? So if you cast somebody like that, she'll show up.
Okay.
Yeah, or like it definitely, like they could have definitely went kind of like the Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Daisy Ridley route and found somebody. They could have found like a new person, but if Rosario Dawson wants the role, like they're spending money to get Rosario Dawson to do that role. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they definitely would have signed like a multi-episode deal. There was a lot of kind of backdoor piloty type of things.
Yes.
Especially in the last like handful of episodes.
Yeah.
I would 100% take a fucking Ahsoka Tano like going after
limited series
Thrawn.
or something like even
I would take that over a Cara Dune fucking
Yes,
like
please.
series. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I mean,
Clone Wars
Cassian
sequel
Andor,
shit.
like
Clone
seriously,
Wars sequel
Cassian-
shit.
right, right.
I mean, the worst is literally this Cassian Andor story. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's good, but I don't believe in that because we know how it ends, right? Like this is, I mean, I've seen Rogue One. I don't want to see what he did before he died.
You know,
Right. I mean,
in the same way that we might get a female Avengers with Captain Marvel and Shuri as Black
Sure,
Panther down the line,
sure.
I think we're gonna get a spin-off series with Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren, which we didn't talk about today.
That would be
all those characters. I think there's a possibility with Filoni as the showrunner, like a Clone Wars sequel type of spin-off series. Because the way they're introducing characters like this for like I don't know. I'm just convinced because look at the reaction. Ahsoka and Star Wars and the Mandalorian was #1 trending on Twitter yesterday. Like that's how big of an impact it was.
Absolutely. I mean, like, and the whole what we were getting was the MEU, the Mandalorian Extended Universe. That's what we were getting. That's kind of what we've been getting in the past couple of episodes. Yeah, I think, and just by virtue of the fact that Ahsoka like basically said like, "Yo, I'm not going to train him." And because what I thought was going to happen, I thought that she was going to become a series regular. I thought it was going to be starring Pedro Pascal and Rosario Dawson, but she was like, "No, okay, cool. You guys go do your thing." And she kind of, but now she's like, it's going to be like an Avengers type of thing. Like every time, you know, like Stephen Strange is occasionally going to show up, like in a Thor movie or whatever.
He's going to be in the next Spider-Man movie, for example. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. And so, like, I think that it's very possible that Ahsoka's gonna because they're name dropping, because some people have been like they're gonna go do their own thing with like Thrawn and stuff. That could be something, but I feel like I don't know, them name dropping him and potentially, you know, and just their lack of development with Moff Gideon thus far. And I am historically very wrong about most things, so just remember that, everybody. But insofar as if they decide to kind of let Moff Gideon go, then Thrawn's gonna basically be like the big, kind of like the big bad for the Mandalorian thus far. And I don't know if they're gonna peel it off, but a Bo-Katan one, that shit, I'm like, I'd be all about that stuff. Because I mean, because Kate is such a,
or Rosario could both play leads for sure.
Absolutely. And so so I would say that I think that there's definitely some points that they're going to peel off. I'm not exactly sure which one, but there were a lot of backdoor. They're market testing. They're like who went #1 on Twitter yesterday? Who did good? Like who's got the clicks? I think that's how the House of Mouse is sort of like looking.
You're going to get the final word on the show today. What do you thought? Expanding on that.
I finally found out the name is Grogu, and I'm not happy.
Okay, hold on. Here. I asked this at the end of our video. Do we like the name?
Yeah, I don't know. Grogu? It's so. I mean, Yoda and Yaddle had a child, and his name is Grogu.
Baby, me.
Oh, guys, we didn't talk about how Baby Yoda reacted to Grogu. How cute was that?
It was really, I mean, that it was some of the funnest stuff. And again, like kind of what I was saying before, where it to me, that's the stuff that is the best about Star Wars, is where it was that simple scene, no dialogue, where you kind of had to figure out, like, wait a minute, they're like talking. Wait, no, they're looking back at me. They're talking. They're communicating. It was such a exhilarating, childlike feeling that I got specifically from that scene.
I teared up at the final scene, dude. Like with the music,
man.
Their connection. I was like, was that their final? It felt like a final goodbye, even though we probably know it won't be. But like, oh man, like even the soundtrack really changed this episode. They recycled a lot of old Star Wars themes in the episode too, right?
Sure.
Like that was really good.
100%. Yeah. So I think that, I don't know, it just kind of seems like
we can't stop talking about this goddamn episode.
No, sorry. But anyway, Helena, like insofar as what you were saying before about like, do you so you don't like the name?
No.
Is it just because we're just used to Baby Yoda or the kid
No,
or
no,
whatever?
no. It's not that, but it's not a Grogu. I don't know. It sounds like Mel Brooks came up with it. And it's Spaceballs.
You gotta come on.
You know what?
You
You know
what
what the funny thing is about this is I was on Twitter and people were just like, Baby Yoda is so cute, we don't even care. And then some people were like, I'm not calling him Grogu, it's just Baby Yoda. And then some people were just like, because Baby Yoda is so cute, Grogu is just the cutest thing ever. It doesn't even matter. That was like 75% of what I saw. Like, so I was like, it wasn't like people were like, it's still Baby Yoda to me. I was like, you know.
Yeah, I think that the Baby Yoda wars, like Baby Yoda is going to be the Kleenex of whatever we're blowing our noses with. I mean, it's going to basically like whatever we're just kind of gonna. Most people are going to continue to kind of are going to continue to call him Baby Yoda.
Well, the question is Baby Yoda going to talk at some point, and then they have to call him Grogu, right?
That's
the thing.
Right. No, I'm down, and I'll be fine with Grogu. I do think that it just there's something just a tiny bit off about how it sounds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the R or something like that. Like, cause like, what if it was?
Yeah.
Like if it was like Godu or Yodu or something like
Yodu.
No, not Yodu, but like because that's just so like it's so.
But maybe they're trying to throw us off the scent of Yoda Yaddle. Being their parents or something. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm sure we're definitely going to find out more about Baby Yoda's lineage and all of that. Like they're not going to not explain it in the show. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not going to be like Rey.
Yeah, no, he's going to be Grogu Skywalker.
The last Skywalker.
As you've seen, me and Yaddle have been having ourselves a relationship for quite some time. So I am the father of Grogu. Where else would he get such a hideous fucking name than from me, Emperor Palpatine?
But by the way, Morally, another donation. Thank you. Hopefully we'll all be at Con of Thrones next year. Pandemic, if it figures itself out, if the people of Florida start to figure themselves out. I don't know.
No shit, right? Yeah. Don't hold your fucking breath.
And then we got another kitty. Is that Kiki or is that Teddy? We got another kitty sighting. Guys, this has been so much fun, man. Sean, I love having you as a guest. Chat. Claps for our guests today. A lot of really a bunch of humor, good humor, and a bunch of hot takes, a bunch of just gushing over the episode. It was just amazing. We all gave it 5 out of 5, and Helen gave it 6 out of 5.
I think I shouldn't. Looking back, I should have gave it a 6 out of 5. You know what I mean? Like now that you say it, now that we figured out, now that I know that Mace Windu's showing up, it's a 6 out of 5.
This is something that we needed. We needed a big W like this in 2020, and that's something
totally.
that everybody is. I'm dropping a big video on Monday, like a 20-minute video on this, and I haven't been this excited to make a video since Game of Thrones season 8.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
That's how excited I am about this revelation in Star Wars. And I know
that's what it's all about.
Everybody in chat is so excited. I know you guys are excited. Everybody's talking about it. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's fun to have.
Thing.
It's what exactly. It's like it seems like the show is clicking with the fan base, and it's also like my mom knows about Baby Yoda. Like that shit doesn't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like she doesn't give a shit about Star Wars, but it's like it's been kind of hitting this like kind of universal itch that sort of like the type of escapism that I think that people crave and that I think can be like a good thing. You know what I mean? And so I think we're sort of having that moment right now. And again, and thank you for having me, by the way, both of you. Like it's been a pleasure.
Oh man, it's hilarious because you're a bartender, Sean, and Helen's got she's got her own bar in the background, and
she's well on her way. She's gonna be out.
I'm your client. I'm the client, Sean.
No, you're gonna be fucking running the joint probably before, and you're gonna be telling me what to do.
It would be so cool if we were in a cantina all together talking about it. But
let's say, hey, next time we're able to get together for Con of Thrones, we shall do the very same, you know?
Yeah, and then on behalf of Maura Lee, I shall share today's generous donations with the two of you. If we all get to go to a cantina together. And,
there you go.
Yeah, and get to hang out. So thanks for joining us, Sean. Helen, of course. Thank you for being my lovely co-host. Much more better looking than me and Sean. So, and there was
That's for sure.
Many people were saying how pretty Helen was in the chat today. We agree that Helen is our Leia of our universe. So
next time I'll come in the bikini. I still have that. I'm not sure if I fit in there. I come for the Christmas stream. Sean should come as well. You know, we all come in costume.
Dude, you want to come on our Christmas stream?
I would love to be on the Christmas tree. What are we doing? The holiday special? What's going on?
Oh my God, I would love that. Please,
Life Day. Are we
it's Life
some
Day.
Life Day stuff?
Yeah.
There we go.
By the way, chat, you heard it. Sean's going to be our guest for the Star Wars holiday live stream. We don't know what we're not going to have it on Christmas Day, but it'll be in a week proximity to Christmas.
Right just in time for the holidays.
And that'll give us a chance to talk about the Mandalorian season being over. We'll have you back after the season is over.
We can find out how wrong I was about everything.
We can find out how bad our predictions were, and they all get blown up, and we could be like, "Hey, yeah." So, all the awesome
oh my God, you will laugh so bad if Mace Windu is back, y'all. Like seriously, you owe me if he's back. You owe me.
I will buy Helen a bottle of wine if Mace Windu shows up.
Helena's bar is going to just completely bloom by about 40 bottles in the back after the amount of money that she's going to win off of us by betting hard on fucking Mace Windu. I'm into it.
You bet, mofo.
So thanks again, everyone in chat, for showing up. We will be doing this again next Saturday with another special guest. We're not going to tell you yet. I still have to confirm that we're getting this person. But we're going to have another special guest for each of the rest of the episodes of the season. So that it's been really exciting. Of course, you got Helen and us for a couple of episodes, but adding another person into the conversation, having a three-way conversation is really fun. So thanks again, Sean, for coming on. You can find Sean on Twitter, link in the description of the video, and also Sean Tank Top. If you haven't seen the Burlington Bar reactions from all the Game of Thrones season, that's Sean's bar. He owns that bar. So I'll give one quick plug for myself real quick. I just said, I sadly do not own the bar. I wish that I did, but I manage it. But one thing I will say, one quick plug: if you guys are having a good time with this chat, we're doing our Mando Monday live streams on my channel, and we got ourselves, which actually. Kyle, I would love to have you on at some point in the next, for maybe episode 6 or something like that, if you'd like to come on. So or like the two of you, we'll be in touch. We'll have our people call each other's people, but because I would love to collaborate with you guys again. But this coming Monday at 7 p.m. Central, we're doing Mando Monday live streams. We got a nice, awesome big panel of people like myself with the Draces, who I collaborate with a lot, and we've been doing our reactions to this series with that, and then. Also, if everybody's being fucking smart and not going outside, if you want to party in place, head to my Twitch at twitch.tv/Sean Tank Top. I'm DJing a big ass dance party. I do it every Saturday. Ooh. If you guys need like a little soundtrack, serotonin.
A little serotonin, a little something to party in place and to kind of have like a fun kind of like Saturday night type experience inside, which is where everybody should be, especially if you're in the United States. Head on over to twitch.tv/Sean Tank Top. I'm going to be spinning a bunch of fucking hot jams over there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just want to get that quick plug. I just want to get that one plug in. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop it.
I put Sean's Twitch in the link in the description of the video, but he DJs all sorts of different music. He has great music taste. He does 90s, 80s dance music,
tons of shit, everything. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So please come on by if you're able. Thank you, but again, thank you guys very much for having me.
And a shout out to the Draces. I got to figure out how to do more people on StreamYard so we can have them back on again, because we were having awesome discussions during the Westworld season, and that was super fun. So yeah, make sure you go check them out, show them some love, go subscribe. Like I said, links in the description of the video. And Helen also is working on a new Lord of the Rings video. Did you already put it out, Helen?
Yes, I got my new Everything About Numenor video out. So yeah, I'm doing more content on my channel, talking geeky, nerdy stuff about Lord of the Rings, and everybody's like, what is this girl talking about? But yeah, it's good and fun.
And like we say at the end of all of our live streams, thank you for watching. This has been super fun. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Saturday. Me, Helen, and another special guest. We're going to have Sean back on after the season for our Christmas party. That's going to be super fun. And
bikinis and costumes.
we'll have a few Christmas-inspired drinks, I think. That'll be
Damn
fun.
straight we will.
And,
Absolutely.
And we also, our final message, everybody stay safe. Of course, we're still in 2020 pandemic. If you're going out, wear a mask. If you're staying in place, stay safe, stay warm, and watch The Mandalorian because, man, it's been awesome. Thank you, everyone, so much.